Hello, my name is Chris Mendez. Today I'm going to be talking about the bio video project and I did biodiesel, the introduction and background of biodiesel fuel. Biodiesel was first invented when a man named Rudolf Diesel made the first diesel engine back in the 1890s. This engine was able to run on multiple fuels such as vegetable oil, peanut oil, or what is known as biodiesel. However, many were not interested at this time with biodiesel because there was a more abundant and less expensive fuel that performed better, which was petroleum fuels. This was the conclusion of biodiesel for several decades until the early 1970s when OPEC placed the petroleum oil embargo on any country that supported Israel during the Yom Kippur War. This embargo forced nations to find an alternative fuel. They looked towards biodiesel. While it was effective in running engines, it wasn't efficient enough to keep the diesel engines running for too long without causing damages. Scientists would later experiment with vegetable oils, making it to what we now know as biodiesel. Another growth of biodiesel was how it was a renewable energy source, producing less air pollutants and air carbon emissions. Two, how biodiesel is grown/cultivated and produced. Since biodiesel is a renewable resource, it is grown from used or non or new vegetable oils, animal fats, yellow greases, and used cooking oils. While the process it takes to make biodiesel is called transesterification, this process is where vegetable oil or animal fat reacts with an alcohol, usually methanol, with a catalyst, which after this whole process, the outcome will be biodiesel, otherwise known as ethyl esters, and the co-product is glycerin. Development of biodiesel throughout the years. Throughout the years, biodiesel has been gaining more traction as governments around the world, especially in the United States, have passed mandates and introduced tax credits to increase the use and produce of biodiesel. Overall, biodiesel is becoming more and more available in countries with the technological advancements similar to the United States. Carbon footprint of biodiesel. There has been several conspiracies about the impact of biodiesel, from food prices to farmers producing more carbon dioxide because of the deforestation of forests to make more space to produce biodiesel crops. The controversy just stated is called indirect land use change, or ILUC. This conclusion, however, was disproved by EPA's Renewable Fuel Standard Program regulatory impact analysis. Later on, as they stated, how if there was a indirect land use change, the biodiesel would result in an average of 57% greenhouse gases emissions compared to the fossil fuels. And biodiesel that was produced from waste greenhouses resulted in an 87% reduction. Economic impact of biodiesel. The economic impact of biodiesel is significant to the US economy, as just last year in 2024 it was stated that 42 billion was contributed to the US economy. It was also shown that it gave over 107,000 jobs available in the United States and paid out a total of 6 billion in total wages to the workers. Biodiesel to the public. Biodiesel has been shown to the public around the world and has granted support from the government with the mandates and tax credits as stated in previous slides. It also seems like the public supports the use of biodiesel as it is a renewable energy leading to environmental benefits and the economic impact it has. My analysis of biodiesel. With the data I have analyzed from the many sources I have collected, I believe that biodiesel isn't a better alternative fuel to petroleum fuel, as petroleum is more efficient and cost efficient. However, I do think that with the steps scientists are taking for the future use of biodiesel, I think that they can make it a fuel that can reduce carbon emissions and the amount of dependence that we have on fossil fuels as they are non-renewable. Plan of action for biodiesel. As stated in the previous slide, the amount of money it takes to produce biodiesel is a burden. However, if the biodiesel industry was financially stable, I would like to find a way to make it a primary source of fuel instead of a fuel that is used primarily to slow down the amount of fossil fuels we go through. The plan would include finding ways to find an efficient way to produce the biodiesel fuel more efficiently, cost-wise, and mechanically wise with engines. If we solve these problems, it can lead to biodiesels becoming a competitor in the market, as why not use a friendlier fuel that costs the same as a more harmful fuel to the environment? And these are my sources.